I am Dr. Ray Dykes, and this is the Personal Faith Program. This podcast is a practical podcast about how to live life at its best on a daily basis. That doesn't mean we're going to live life perfectly every day. It just means how to live life at its best on a daily basis, day by day. It's very practical. It's a 12-step program. There are lots of 12-step programs out there. This one I wrote, and I think it will be helpful. The first thing is to remember just 1, 2, 3. Remember, take, look. Remember, take, look. 1, remember who you are and what your concept of God is, because you mirror your concept of the nature of God. Your identity mirrors your concept of the nature of God. 2, take the great intangible gifts of God and pass them on. They're at your left elbow if you're right-handed, at your right elbow if you're left-handed. Take the great intangible gifts of love, peace of mind, calmness of spirit, wisdom, patience, all those great intangible gifts that are sitting there, been there from the time you were born. Take them, say thank you, and pass them on. Number 3, remember, take, look. Remember, take, look. Number 3, look. Look for the presence of God in people, nature, and events. Look every day. And that makes a huge difference in your life. All right, now, the second step. Yield not to the 3 great temptations. Jesus, is recorded in Matthew, had 3 temptations. The first temptation is to put your material existence ahead of your spiritual life, to put your material needs ahead of your spiritual life. And the way to yield to not yield to that temptation is to give your spiritual life top priority. The second temptation was for Jesus was to jump off the pinnacle of the temple, be irresponsible, do something dumb and ask God to bail you out. Well, the way that you refute that temptation is to take responsibility for your words and deeds. Say, hey, that's me. Number 3, Jesus was taken up on a high mountain and told that he could be the king of the world. And he said, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve. In other words, don't try to play God with other people that God has not made you responsible for. It's very important. Otherwise, you carry people around that God hasn't asked you to carry around. All right, third step. What does God require of you? This is a little passage in Micah, prophet in the Old Testament. Micah 6:8. What does God require of you? But to love with covenant love, to be fair to yourself and to others. Now, that's the same as the golden rule. And to live your life with humility toward God. Now, what does that mean? That means to realize that you're not God, God's not you. It's to walk humbly with your God. Live your life with humility. That doesn't mean, humility is the opposite of arrogance. Don't be arrogant. The fourth step is the greatest 2 commandments. Know yourself, understand yourself, accept yourself, and love yourself. And it happens in that order. Know yourself, understand yourself, accept yourself, love yourself. Understand that your neighbor is working a need list, and love your neighbor. We all have our need lists that we're working at any moment in time. And thirdly, clarify your concept of God. Clarify your concept of God and love God with all your being. Whatever your concept of God is, whatever is sacred to you, clarify that and love that with all your being. Number 5, fifth step. Practice the art of loving. Requires discipline. Practice it regularly, not on a hit or miss basis. Practicing the art of loving requires concentration. Focus on what's important. Practicing the art of loving requires patience. Loving others is not always easy or quick. And practice the art of loving requires supreme concern. Make it number 1 priority in your life, your spiritual life, to love. I get this from a book called The Art of Loving. Number 6, sixth step. Living your faith in a conscious fashion makes your faith much more important. In a conscious fashion. Conscious. Being aware of what you're doing as a result of your faith. What does my faith have to do with what I'm doing? Otherwise, what you believe is demonstrated unconsciously. Number 7, seventh step. The 4 most basic human needs are air, water, strokes, and food. Strokes in front of food. Higher priority. So take time to breathe deeply. Keep yourself hydrated, especially in the summertime. Receive strokes, touches, compliments. Strokes, you know what strokes mean. Receive strokes from others graciously and with thanksgiving. And give strokes generously, especially to those you love. And then remember that breakfast is, on the food thing, breakfast is golden, lunch is silver, and supper is lead. If you want to keep your weight in balance or lose weight, eat a big breakfast. Eat breakfast till you're full. Eat lunch till you're happy. Eat supper till you're not hungry anymore. There's a big difference. Supper is lead. Whatever you eat for supper is not going away. The 8th step, maximize the love and joy in your life by giving and receiving love and joy. Focus on love and joy. Minimize fear, for we have nothing to fear but fear itself, Churchill said. Number 9, understand that your work, if you're working, if you're still employed vocationally, your work is your ministry to which you were called by God. So either it is your ministry or you need to accept a call to another work that is your ministry. It can be your ministry. Number 10, working smart is more important than working long hours. Figure out how to get it done smart. Think about it. Work it out. Work smart. It's better than working long. 11th step, treat today as if it were a day in the heaven you were promised in the last life. You figure that one out. And the last step, number 12, remember that you are a warm and wonderful child of God. Thanks for watching. See you next time.